Hey, let me ask you something, though, Kiz, and we'll get into the Cardinals in a second. But we got a young producer that just joined the show about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, man.
And Kiz, the first, 7 days in, he's been great. And then the other day, he was 45 minutes late.
Oh,
Kiz,
man.
it's Cole here.
Hey, Kiz, 45 minutes late. And then now I'm scrambling to, it disrupts the show a little bit. You got to go on live on the air. What would happen? First off, have you ever been late? And what would happen if you were late to a game with this here Cardinals organization?
I've never been late. I will say that I try to be early actually all the time.
That's right,
sir.
But if I was late to a game, I think it'd be a lot worse if I was actually playing in it. But yeah, I probably would get in trouble a little bit.
A little bit.
So, Kiz,
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
let's say we have these early season games at home that are 6:45. So what time do guys show up, and what time do you have to show up where it's like you actually are late if you're here past whatever? What is it, 3:30?
Yeah, so a lot of it depends on what time they open the clubhouse up at. Some days we have late show. Other days we have a little bit bigger work day where they might open the clubhouse earlier than normal so guys can get in and get some stuff done. So really I will say after the whole COVID season, the arrival to the ballpark has changed. It's gotten later. Pre-COVID, for a 7 o'clock game, there would be guys in the clubhouse at 11 o'clock in the morning, whether it's watching film, lifting, whatever. But now it's a more reasonable, usually 5 hours before game time is usually kind of like that sweet spot of when the clubhouse will open when guys start getting in.
That's
early. I'm guessing with you as a catcher, your games played and your rest and all that with you and Willie, it's probably scheduled in advance. So, when do you know that you're in the lineup? Do you know the night before? Do you get a text?
Yeah.
Does Ollie text out the lineup to the players much earlier? How's that work?
Yeah, we get the lineup the night before the game. Ollie will come up to me and give me, usually most of the time at the beginning of the series or at the end of a series, kind of a series in advance, like, hey, I'm thinking possibly you might match up good here, so I got you maybe getting in this game or that game or whatever it may be. So usually I do have some sort of knowledge, at least somewhat tentative, like a series in advance, but definitely we get the lineups the night before, so 100% if you're going to be in the lineup the next day.
Kiz, how much has that changed for you, though, knowing that you got to, call a game and, you got to be looking ahead? What does that do for your prep when you're having to get ready, not only to be in the lineup, but also having to get with that starter and get worked out for what that next day is going to be like?
Yeah, it honestly doesn't change a whole lot because every day especially at the beginning of a series, I try to get as much film as I can get in. And look at these hitters and try to learn the opposing hitters as fast as I can in preparation for playing. And then when I know I am playing, then I can dive in a little bit deeper with the history of the opposing hitters and the starting pitcher that day and get a little bit more of a refined report just for that starter that day. Because when I look at these guys, when I look at the opposing hitters, I look at what they do on average across the whole league against righties and versus lefty pitchers. So then once I have a general overview, then I can go a little bit deeper in on what do they do against our starter for that day.
So, Kiz, I'm going to ask this in a respectful way because I'm from the great state of Ohio, as is Cole here, our fantastic producer. So tell us from a player's standpoint, you guys are on a great run, 2 weeks playing great baseball. You're beating good teams. You're at home against the Dodgers, weekend series, packed house. Everybody's looking forward to that series. You beat the Dodgers. And then, okay, let's be honest, a little different. You go to Cincinnati. I think there's 14 people in the stands.
God.
Just a little bit different atmosphere. But, hey, all these games count the same. You can kind of say it's a trap game because the Cardinals just beat the Dodgers. Now you got the Reds. You're supposed to beat them. It doesn't happen. So how do you make sure you're always up for every single game, no matter what the atmosphere is?
Well, right now more than ever and more than in the past, we're behind the eight ball a little bit. So every single inning, every single pitch matters, no matter if we're playing, in Yankee Stadium, in Dodger Stadium, or on a sandlot field in the middle of nowhere. we have to win every single game, and we have to play hard every single game and show up ready to go. You know, the game last night, they kind of punched us in the mouth first, and you know, I thought we did a nice job of coming back, battling back a few times, tie that game up, and you know, things just didn't work out for us in extra innings. But it's always good. It's always a good feeling when you're able to fight back, get a lead, bounce back, and keep fighting back. So it's always a good sign when we're doing that.
Kids, that's a great point, I think, when you talk about what goes into rallying from the way that the season started. How does it feel different now than maybe it did a couple of weeks ago, just in the vibe around the boys when you're going in? Obviously, every game counts, every inning counts. But how much does it feel now knowing that you've come around and shown that, all right, yeah, we can do this, and you're back in the mix?
Yeah, no, it's a really good feeling because early in the season, you know, whenever we got down, it was like, oh, my gosh, not again. And it was more like we were trying not to lose games rather than trying to go out and win games. And right now I feel like we're trying to win games. Even if we get behind, you know, we're coming back, we're fighting back, we're getting leads, we're winning games like that. So that fight, that battle, that's Cardinal baseball. And, you know, it just got off to a slow start early, but I feel like now we're back on that groove of we're battling until the last pitch of the game, and that's a really good feeling.
Kiz, I hate to jump around, but I do, as the guilty party, want to go back to being late for just a second.
Apologize to Kiz.
You played, yeah, I apologize, Kiz. You played for, you know, an older coach in college, Elliott Event. Oh, I'm sure that some of your teammates in college were out partying. Maybe someone slept in a little bit too much. What kind of consequences did they face if they were a little bit late to the ballpark in college at NC State?
Man, you're trying to dig up my memory. You know, I feel like with Coach Avent at NC State, it was he you know, you would get punished, but he was a player's coach, and he was more about making sure that guys understood why you can't be late. And, you know, he wasn't just a guy that was going to yell at you and make you run 5 miles during practice. It was like he'd sit down and tell you, like, hey, man, you can't be late. We're trying to, you know, do this, do that. That's not what the program's about. I'm sure there was some punishment. Like I said, I never was late, so I don't know. And I can't quite remember what the other guys did. But
because they weren't late, Cole. He doesn't remember because they were never late.
Yeah, we were all on time all the time.
No, Kiz, that's the right answer. Don't make Kiz throw his boys under the bus.
That's right. No. And they did get punished.
He didn't need to name names. Anyway, but, hey, on a Cardinals note, Giovanni Gallegos has been nails out of the pen this year. He's got a 1.96 ERA, and last night another scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts. What can you say about him and what he's been doing this year? Because he's having the best year of his career.
Yeah, Gio, man, he's as cool as a cucumber. That's how I describe him. Nothing phases that guy. It doesn't matter situation. It does not matter to him. He's going to go out. He's going to pump the zone. He's going to get some swing and miss. And we love having him out there in big spots. I mean, I can't say enough about Gio. He's been our go-to guy in tight jams for a while now, for the last few seasons, and he goes out there and gets the job done for us.
So, Kiz, I remember when we were talking with you early in spring, I think even before spring training, in terms of just pitchers and catchers and guys down there, and we asked you about a position player to look out for, and you said something along the lines of Paulie D. Paul DeJong had redid his swing, and man, I don't think anybody saw this coming, how productive Paul DeJong has been. What a comeback story. I mean, he's one of your best players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I saw the work that guy put in this offseason every single day in the cage, hitting, and not just hitting to hit. He was hitting with a purpose, and there's a huge difference when you're in there every single day, trusting the process of going through, you know, your swing changes or whatever he was going through, whether it's mental, physical, probably a little bit of both. So to see all that work he put in, I know how hard he worked. I know how bad he wants it, and to see him producing really, really big for us right now, that's just really good to see.
Kids, it is weird though, man. Like, and this is the last one for you. I know you're a busy guy and you got a game tonight, but you know, you play at Busch Stadium and then you go to the Reds, and I know we brought this up earlier, but when you walk around and there's nobody there, do you just think to yourself, Thank God I play for the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, it definitely is very nice playing for the Cardinals, showing up every single home game to a packed house.
Dude.
It is a great feeling.
Hey, Kiz, Cam jumped the gun. I had one for you before it
last one
goes.
for you. Sorry, Kiz Dog, man. We love you, dude.
Obviously, the news came out about Rick Hummel passing yesterday. I just wanted to know if there are any memories or any exchanges that you had with him that stood out during your time with the club.
Yeah, that was sad news for Cardinal Nation. Rick was, he was a guy that was super professional, went about it the right way, had a great reputation in the clubhouse. And, when you lose guys like that, they're tough to replace because, like I said, he did everything the right way. And, thoughts and prayers are to his family. And, it's just really sad to hear.
Yeah, man. He was fair. And not too many guys are like that, so it was good to have him around. But anyway, you're a busy man. We'll be watching tonight, kids. Good luck to you, buddy.